Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Cannoli Sasquatch here, coming to you live. Wanted to have a quick stream tonight, talk about a few things. Listen, I know Matt Scherzer's throwing a perfect game, so the Met fans that are listening right now, I'm with you. I'm watching it. I just chose a bad time to do a live stream. Anyway, just wanted to go ahead and say hello, and we're going to talk about a few things today, probably the more important things that we need to talk about, minus the Met game, of course. So I got a couple of things I want to discuss. One I want to do my review of this movie, RRR, which was a movie that I watched over the weekend. I was told to watch this movie by numerous people online, on Twitter. I was recommended this movie. Fascinating stuff, like really fascinating stuff. So I want to get into this because it's not normally a movie I would watch. It's not normally something I would look to watch. I kept seeing recommendations about this movie constantly, and I mean constantly, from people that I trust, I respect. Once the Critical Drinker did a review on this movie, a 15-minute review on his page, on his YouTube channel, I had to watch this movie. Finally, I was able to go ahead and get to it. Again, it's not a movie I would normally get into or watch. My daughter actually watched the whole movie with me, 3 hours long, and I'll get into why it was so good. I want to give a shout out real quick to a few people on Twitter. I want to give a shout out to Captain My Captain on Twitter at JGun09. We've been chatting a little bit recently on Twitter, and dude, JT Guncap. Go follow him on Twitter. Guy's hilarious. He and Abomination AJ were pushing me to watch this movie on Friday night and Saturday. So I said, fine, I'm going to finally do it. And I ended up watching it. And I got to say, I actually like this movie a lot. Fascinating stuff. Yeah, JT Gunn, The Late Night with Cap. Follow him on YouTube and then at JTGun09 on Twitter. Again, I want to also give another shout out real quick to Abomination AJ and his awesome artwork. As you can see, I'm using here. Went ahead and was able to do a lot of work on my channel with avatars and this beautiful overlay and border that I have, you see here, and also some possible merchandise stuff that's going to be coming down the pike. I got to thank Abomination AJ again for hooking me up and getting this Sasquatch avatar done for me. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, again, I have the Met game on here. So all the Met fans that are watching and listening, if you are, thank you. I know it's tough to pull away when your pitcher is pitching a perfect game, but I want to discuss this movie first. So RRR. Again, it's an Indian-made movie, Indian director. If anybody who's ever watched Indian movies, they're very, well, again, this is from my interpretation, from what I understand, very over the top. Not like American movies that are made. So this movie is a large Indian Telugu language epic action drama. Right there, you're thinking, what? An Indian action epic drama? What does that mean for me? How am I going to like this movie? Let me tell you. I was pleasantly surprised. So, thank you, Eli. Thanks, Eli, for joining. Who do I like, Beam or Ram? I gotta tell you something. I liked. What's funny that you mentioned that. Beam was. I like Beam a lot. I like both characters a lot. I didn't understand the dynamic. Obviously, there's a big kind of twist in the middle of the movie, about an hour and a half in, I believe, where you see where one of the characters is coming from. So there's going to be spoilers here coming. So if you're listening to this and you want to see this movie on Netflix, I understand if you got to cut out. I'm going to go into spoiler territory. I got to tell you something. I really liked both of them. At first, I liked Beam. The beginning of the movie opens up great. It goes into this. Well, so basically, let's get into the plot real quick. So the plot is it's in 1920. I'm just reading off notes because I'm old and I can't remember everything. And this is a 3-hour movie I saw Saturday, so bear with me. During the British Raj, I'm going to pronounce a lot of names wrong here, first of all. I'm just going into this quickly. British Raj, tyrannical administrator Scott Buxton so basically it's about the British being in this part of India. the tyrannical person in charge, Scott Buxton, and his sadistic wife, Catherine, visit a forest in is it Adilabad? Okay. So anyway, in the beginning of the movie opens up, you see this cute little Indian kid painting artwork on this white woman's arm, singing, and it's very very peaceful, very tranquil. You have the whole village kind of circling around this kid, and you're thinking, well, this is interesting, and then it goes right into it. This tyrannical administrator, Scott Buxton, is a British officer, comes right in, basically throws money to the ground, and basically the wife's like, I want this. I want one of them, basically. If I'm wrong here, let me know, because like I said, I'm old and I can't remember everything. And then immediately the kid gets taken away. The mom chases the kid, and this is where this movie kind of like, you're like, oh, okay. The mom chases down the car where the kid's basically being bought and stolen, I guess. Then I'm telling you, thanks Abomination AJ for joining. Yeah, Indian cinema is definitely interesting. I had really never watched a lot of Indian cinema movies. This movie put that whole universe in my radar. Hey, listen, anybody who's in the chat who wants to join the stream just to chat about the movie, hit me up. You got my Twitter. You can send me a message. I can send you a link, because this is like almost something I need to talk to multiple people about. Also with the House of Dragon. If you're in the chat and want to chat and join, please let me know. If you don't, I totally understand, but it's almost like I need an extra person to kind of remember all the content from these two things I'm going to talk about tonight. But again, just hit me up. Let me know. If you want to join, it'd be awesome to have a collaboration with some of you guys. Okay, so basically the tribe's guardian, Comaran Beam, is basically hired, and this is where Eli, you're getting into it. I like Beam. Beam is he's a badass. I mean, the guy's got a tiger chasing him, gets scratched by the tiger, where I guess initially they're hunting, is it wolves or some weird hyena hybrid? I don't know what was going on. But anyway, he's a badass. He's basically like this village savior. He's hired to do these things. He's tasked with guarding this tribe in this little area, in this little region, I guess. He goes to Delhi, where he's basically trying to hunt down, rescue the girl, which is technically his sister, or at least he calls her that. He goes basically goes in disguise as a Muslim man named Akhtar, and he's in Delhi, and he's kind of maneuvering around trying to gain information. He's this badass, strong warrior, but he's disguising himself. Gets in trouble with a British officer, because it's like I said, there's a lot going on here. Gets in trouble with another British officer for he's disguised as like fixing things like bikes and cars and stuff like that. So anyway, it goes into this whole thing. So again, Eli, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here. I liked Beam. I liked Ram by the end, because you see the motivation, where his motives are coming. Ram is awesome. I mean, he's a badass the way he starts the movie with fighting the Indian crowd by himself. This is where this movie kind of, you're sitting there going, what is happening here? What is happening here? But you can't stop watching it. You're thinking, this is over the top. It's different. It's just a different style or method of movie making, and it's awesome. It's fascinating. There's some dubbing. There's some Hindi. I think it's Hindi, the language the Indian people are talking in. The British officers are obviously speaking English, so there's English. I had subtitles on the entire time, obviously, even when they were speaking in English, because English accents to me are very weird. And not that they're weird, I just can't understand them sometimes. I had my volume turned up to 90 on my sound bar, my system. My kids actually watched this movie with me the whole time. It was great. So there's dance numbers, because Indian cinema is like that. They have these very elaborate dance numbers, well choreographed. So basically, you got this one hero, Beam, and then this officer, Ram, who you see is this hard-ass Indian soldier working for the British government. And then you're thinking, well, why? He's been called a traitor the whole movie. He's being called, like, why would you go against your people? They're just these made up characters, but they're superheroes basically. They're super strong. They do crazy things. They're jumping on people. They're, tackling people, crashing onto rocks and getting hit in the head. And I think there was one scene in the beginning, Ram's hitting the head with a literal rock, almost the size of like a small boulder. And he gets up and he's just fighting off thousands of Indians. And you're sitting there going, wow, this is fascinating. Of course, in real life, he would have been dead, but this is not real life. This is the movies, right? Very, very interesting how the dynamic between the two people, the two men went. This is where I got to say, I got to give a hands up or a clap, small clap, thumbs up to the Indian cinema. No agendas here. There's no agendas. There's a bromance. They don't go one way you think they could have went, which in today's Hollywood in America would have went. And we all know where the direction American cinema would have went with this movie, especially being watch the movie and then tell me I'm wrong, basically. So anyway, so there's a scene where Beam is kind of hiding out and looking for this God, what is the, because anybody who's listening to the chat, Abomination or Eli, can you tell me the name of the girl again? The little girl. What the hell was her name? God, I can't believe I forgot it. She was cute. She was awesome in the movie. I felt bad for this girl. She really good acting, actually. I can't remember that girl's name. Oh my God, what is her name? Anyway, he's hunting for this girl. Something happens where Molly, God, thank you, Eli. Molly. Eli, you want to talk about the movie? Let me know, buddy. I'll send you an email and you can join the chat. Be happy to have you on, buddy. Because apparently, like I said, I'm old and I can't remember very well. Very erratic with this. So anyway, Molly. The kid's name's Molly, who gets taken by this British family. Their royalty, obviously. See, thank you, Abomination Age. The names, there's so many names. I know Beam, I know Ram, Molly, I should know. Everybody else, I just kind of lost track. There's just so much going on in this 3-hour movie. The dance numbers were awesome. There's a scene later on where there's a big dance number with these British people. They're mocking the Indian people because, it's the way it was back in that time period, probably. And then the Indian people go crazy. They're just like, oh yeah, you think you know how to dance? Beam is courting a woman who's actually part of the royalty, the British government royalty. She's royalty, I believe, right? She's a princess. I don't know what she was, but she was really high up. Loves Beam. She meets Beam, likes him, wants to get to know him, but he doesn't speak English. And then this lady basically invites him to a party, and this is a whole dance number that breaks out. We've seen dance numbers in movies in American cinema. They're called musicals. This is just different. I couldn't stop watching. Normally, I'd be like, what is this? I can't take this. I could not stop watching. It was emotional. The music is good. The characters are well written. It's very well directed. It was on a $70 million budget, which is not bad. I mean, in America today, that's really nothing with some of the big budget movies that we're making. This movie was really well done. Cinematography was great. The CGI, of course. The CGI in parts was really kind of like, oh. In other parts, it was really done well. I was actually shocked at some of the decent CGI. There was a part when he's running in the beginning with the tiger. You could tell it was there was one where there's like a wolf, or was it a coyote or something? It gets tackled by the tiger, and you're like, oh God, that looked really like video game-ish. And then there's another scene where he's face to face with the tiger, trying to hold it back, and it was fantastic. So yeah, it was really so anyway, you got these two guys, Beam and Ram. Ram is like a special, he wants to become a special officer in the British government, I guess, in India. And you don't know his motive very well. You just know that he's there and he's trying to basically get on their good side, and he's trying to move up in rank. Beam has an actual purpose. He's trying to find Molly, who was taken by these British people, bought basically. He promised that the Molly's mother that he'd get her back. So his whole journey. So basically, how they meet, they're established. This is what I love about this movie. These characters are already established, well-written characters. You got Bean, who's a badass hunting tigers and strong and big, and he's like a superhero legend. You got Ram, who's also becoming a legend in his own right, fighting off mass hordes of freaking Indian people that are protesting to get a prisoner out of a jail that the British have in captivity. It's unbelievable how well the characters are written, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, American cinema could literally take a note from this." Like they really go above and beyond with the character development here. You feel for these people, you like these people. So hold on a second. I got a surprise for everybody. Hold on a second. I got a special guest coming on the show. Got a special guest coming on the show. Hold on a second. He's got to help me out with this movie. Because anyway, these two characters are well written. The little girl is well written. Even the British girl is well written. And you actually care about these characters. And I want to discuss this with my buddy here who's about to jump on the stream here in a second. I'm going to send him a link. I'm sorry if I'm kind of, like I said, I'm rambling here. But anyway, it's really interesting how the dynamic works. Because it's something that you don't see in American cinema anymore. Oh, sorry about that. I'm an idiot. Sorry, Abomination AJ. You are correct. I'm a dum-dum. Hold on. I'm going to add. Hold on a second. I just sent it. Just sent it. And when you're ready to, whoever, yeah, I'm going to have a special guest coming on here in a second. When you're ready, just jump on. You got the link now. So anyway, before I get the guest on, because he's going to have a little more insight at me, and I also might want to talk to him about the House of the Dragon episode if he has watched it yet, because I kind of need some guidance on that. Just because there was so much going on. Anyway, so I'm sitting there going, what the hell does RRR stand for? I've been hearing about this movie, and I'm like, what is this? What is this sound? What is the RRR? And I'm thinking, Indian cinema is weird, man. Like, what could they possibly be? So real quick here. Here we go. So I'm watching this movie, and hold on a second. Okay. You can tell I'm a rookie at this streaming game. I'm sorry. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and... Anyway, so... Here. Hold on one second. I'm not the brightest person in the world, Abomination AJ. Give me a second here. I'm just trying to figure out... Okay, I think I got it now. Hold on. I got it. Sorry about that. God, I'm losing my mind tonight. You can tell it's a Monday night because I'm like lost. There we go. Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining. Sorry about that. Just ignore that link that's in the stream there because I am stupid and should not have put that in there. Anyway, it's such a good dynamic for this movie. Here, I want to get late night on network TV. So they had stars from the House of Dragon on a talk. So they had one of the stars from House of Dragon. Yeah, House of Dragons is awesome. We're going to talk about that too. Hold Hold on one second here. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me for a minute. I'm trying to get this situated here. Like I said, I'm a little slow. There we go. Okay, I think I got it. I'm an idiot. So hold on. Okay. Somebody want to tell me how I can get Abomination. All right, let me know if you got that link in the private chat. If you did not get it in the private chat, let me know. Apparently, like I said, I'm having a little bit of a mental breakdown here. Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. Sorry about that, Abomination. I'm sending it right now. Give me 1 second. Anyway, yeah, I want to get somebody else's take. I accidentally sent it the incorrect way. I'm sending it to the correct person now. Sorry about that. And here you go, buddy. Here you go, buddy. Now you have it. Okay, Abomination AJ is going to join me here in a second. That's my special guest for today. God, sorry, people. Listen, bear with me. Hold on 1 second here. And I'm going to advertise this. I'm going to get on the socials and advertise. There we go. Here we go. Okay, I think we got that situated now. Sorry about that, people. I know there was a little bit of a delay in the action here. I'm going to wait for my boy Abomination AJ to get in here to go ahead and discuss this with me and talk about this movie because I need a little bit of help. I need a little bit of help. Because, like I said, there's a lot of characters in this movie, and I want to go over the plot. I don't want to miss any details. I also want to go over some House of the Dragon stuff. Like I said, I don't know if he's watched any of that yet, but I kind of want to get some of the stuff on there as well. So anyway, yeah, again, this is a movie that was recommended to me, and I really did not think I was going to like it. Like I said before, 3 hours went by fast, man. I really just did not think that this movie was really going to be. I didn't know if I was going to stick with it. I was a little worried. So I said to myself, give it a chance. My kid, like I said, my 14-year-old daughter sat through the entire movie with me. Didn't blink. Didn't go on her phone. She was fascinated. Like I said, the acting, the production, the cinematography, the music, the characters. I actually was rooting for these people. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And what I loved about it, really, anything, is that the payoff at the end was great. It was satisfying, a little bit emotional. But the twist that came in the middle of the movie, which is I want to talk about with Abomination AJ, was really kind of surprising in a way that most movies in America that are made today don't take me by shock. Like they don't have the shock value like it had. So it was pretty great on how elaborate it was. It was just the sprawling, epic movie. And I guess this is one of the bigger budget movies that they've made in the Indian cinema. $72 million, a lot of money in most places. I know for America, that doesn't seem like a lot. Let me see something here. Hold on, AJ. Issues. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, having some difficulty. No, it's not too violent, Eli, at all. No, that's the thing. I mean, considering what I've seen in American cinema, it wasn't too violent. I was surprised by the violence, and how some of it was so over the top, that it just took me by shock. But I don't know anything about Indian cinema. Like I don't really know much, but it was not too violent. No, I mean violence doesn't bother me in movies, to be honest with you. And this was just shocking, especially at the very beginning with the mother. But I kind of, I mean, for it, I guess, to be in the kind of realm that it was and the way it was made, it made sense for it to be violent like that. It wouldn't have been as good if it wasn't. Like if they toned it down, it would have been a little odd. Um, Hold on one second here, AJ. I'm going to try to get you a new link here real quick. I'm so sorry about that, buddy. Let me do this. I'm going to try something else here, buddy. No, but it wasn't too violent. I thought it was really good. It was well done in that aspect. It was just a little like it took me by surprise in the beginning as the movie went on. It was I was numb to it, but in a good way. It was just funny. Hold on one second. I'm going to try this again, buddy. Try that. Try that again. Hold on. Oh, yeah. You know what? I was having the same issue before with mine. Yeah. Yeah, I was having the same issue with mine. I sent you another one. See if that works this time. My PC was having issues this I was having issues with the stream too. If it doesn't work, I get it. Would love to have you on though. Anyway, this movie's got like a 90 plus rating, 94 plus rating on Matt Smith. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Matt Smith in the House of Dragons. The guy is awesome, man. Yeah, Maggie Q. The House of Dragons got a lot to talk about there. But anyway, I want to get into RRR more. So as the movie progresses, these two characters are going in a similar direction. So what happens is that there's when one of the main characters, I guess you can consider him the good guy in the beginning. Beam has an issue where a child in Indian Delhi is doing a task for him. He's going across this river or lake or whatever. No, it's a river, I think. Something happens where a train explodes, basically, of course, and the kid's underneath the bridge and he's about to get burned to death. So, of course, Ram, who's supposedly the bad guy in the movie, sees this happening. Beam sees this happening, and they basically set up a plan. They don't know each other at this point. They set up a plan. Let's save the kid. They do hand signals and manly shit. Like, you just know that they're going to get stuff done. Save the kid from the water. So at that point, and it's the most one of the it's a little bit CGI cheesiness because you could tell it was very green screen in certain parts, but it's still fascinating how they maneuver a rope with a motorcycle and jump off a bridge together. And there's just this collaboration of greatness coming together, and they save this kid, and then they become friends. And the movie does what I didn't expect it to do right away. They become best friends, and there's this whole collage of like this whole sequence of them learning to like each other more, and becoming really close. They're really getting to know each other for the most part. Like they both have a secret. One works for the British police government, and the other one doesn't. The other one's there for a mission. They're keeping the secret from each other, but they're becoming more friendly, trusting each other a little more, collaborating more. So what you kind of see happening is that knowing what you know about these two characters from the beginning of the movie, you're thinking, oh shit, this is going to obviously come. We've seen enough movies. This is going to come to a head. They're going to find out who they really are. But the whole time in between this, there's God, I can't remember her name. Eli, you want to help me out with this one? The British female who likes Beam. God, who was she exactly? I have notes, but I don't have all my notes with me. I forgot some of them. Hold on a second here. They basically have a connection, and then the British anonymous PJ Jenny. There you go, anonymous PJD. How you doing, buddy? Wonder if it's just a StreamYard thing. Yeah, I don't know if it's just a StreamYard issue. Abomination, I'm sorry, man. I was having some trouble with them, and then I had to restart, and then I got back on. So let me know if you're still having problems with it, and I could resend you the link again in here. You know what? Let me do that, actually. I don't think it's anything on my end. Hold on a second, buddy. Try this. One of my buddies was having a problem with it on Friday, and then something happened where he was able to get back on. I can also email it to you if you want. You can send me your email in the private chat, and I'll try to email it to you. I don't think there's many. I don't know if it's just a StreamYard issue or whatever, but Jenny is part of this. Yeah, Jenny is part of this British royalty, this British family, and she likes Beam. Beam is nice to her. She doesn't like the way that the British officers treat Beam when he's kind of taking her home or visiting the castle or wherever the hell they are. This big British compound, this beautiful compound. So what's happening is when he meets Jenny, he realizes that while she's talking, she says she's buying clothes and items for a little girl named Molly. So of course Beam's like, holy shit, this is it. She's staying with her. What a coincidence. I have to protect her. I have to get her out of this place to get her back to her mother where she was kidnapped from. So he gets in, finds Molly, and basically in this like very heartwarming scene, Molly's behind bars, and you know, she's crying, get me out of here, you know, you got to protect me, whatever. So that's actually what ends up kind of, and you're thinking it's way too early in the movie for this to happen. Like it's only maybe 40 minutes, an hour into the movie, maybe not even that. You're thinking he's not breaking her out. So she's crying, he's crying. Then he starts doing this little singing thing where he's trying to sing to her to keep her calm. And he's like, I promise I'll be back. I know where you are now. I'm going to go back and get our people gathered up, or I'm going to get gathered up, get a plan. Boom. So Beam goes back to his people and he's like, I'm done. The Indian people were not willing to fight back against the British because they were out, you know, not that they were outnumbered. They just didn't have the weapons. They didn't feel like they can go toe to toe with them because they didn't have guns. British had guns and cannons and shit like that. Indians had the numbers, but they didn't have the Indians didn't have the weaponry to fight back. So he goes, let's get a plan together. So they come up with a plan. Beam's like, I'm going to crash this big royal party they're having for the queen or some high up. I think it was the queen, right? To come into India to be at this party, and they're having a big shindig, and it's beautiful. Fucking tents and music, violinists. And so what happens is that they basically crash a truck through the gates after waiting for a while, waiting for the second gate to open after the first gate is closing, because that's how you get into this big compound. And then basically this is where the movie gets crazy. This is one of the points where they crash this big truck into the compound. And of course, the guy driving is getting shot at by 1,000 soldiers, turns the truck in a certain way, and all of a sudden you see the truck go sideways right into the middle of the compound. And you see Beam run out in this garb, this warrior kind of garb. He's wearing this clothes with tigers, jaguars, fucking wolves, bears. I don't know what the hell was coming out of that truck. Just break out of these cages. And you're watching this, and he's like the leader. He's got a torch in one hand. He's screaming, jumping out of this thing. And there's all these animals coming behind him. And of course, the CGI was a little, but you don't care. It's fascinating. So I got these animals. So and then he lands, and the animals are like, oh shit, I got to attack Beam now. And he's fighting them off with a torch, going, no, go after the British people. So you start seeing animals just eating and attacking the British soldiers. And he's like, I'm going to get Molly out. There was actually a few other things that happened before this scene where Ram finally, oh God, I'm so sorry. I skipped ahead. So Ram finds one of Beam's, is his brother or friend who's trying to help him free Molly, and he gets kind of Ram basically is a cop or whatever. He kind of interrogates the guy. He's beating the shit out of the guy. He's hitting his legs, and he's like, "You're gonna tell me who your leader is?" Because the whole time Ram is looking for Beam, not knowing it's his best friend, right? And Beam doesn't know that his best friend is the policeman looking for him. So Ram is trying to become a special officer. It's like, I guess, one of the highest ranking officers you can become for the British government, army. I don't know what the hell they were. And you're wondering why. Where is Ram's motive for this? Why does he want to become this special officer? What is going on here? What does it mean to him? It doesn't make any sense because he's fighting against his own people. So, anyway, this is whole long thing. So what happens is that Ram's buddy, who's cornered, interrogated, and he's like almost dead, basically. He's getting his ass kicked, finds a deadly venomous snake slithering. He catches the snake, and when Ram comes back to interrogate him more, he throws the snake onto Ram. The snake bites him, and of course, he's like, "You're going to be dead within the hour," because this thing is so venomous. So before this big party with the Jaguars attacking people, Ram basically goes to Beam, finds him, and is like, "I'm going to, I got to help." Beam's like, "Oh God," he puts this special potion together. He cures Ram. And then Ram basically he takes him back to Ram's house. He's got Ram in the bed. Ram has got snake poison. He's coming back to life. He's getting better, but he's weak. Can't really he can't really do anything. Can't really speak. He can't walk. And so what ends up happening is Beam tells him who he really is. He's like, "Listen, I'm not really this person you think I am. Like, that's part of me, but I am this so-and-so person who protects this tribe. They basically sent me here to find this girl." And Ram's like, "Holy shit." You see it in his eyes, like, "Oh shit, this is the guy I've been looking for." And he noticed it also because of some religious thing that he wore around his neck that his buddy who got interrogated had the same thing. So it's a family thing, I think. And he noticed it. And so he put two and two together quick, and then Beam told him who he was. So he's like, "I'm going to go to this party. I'm going to crash this party. When I come back, I'm going to get you, and we're going to do this thing." Okay. So knowing Ram knows who he is, Beam does still not know who Ram is. So he goes into this party, breaks out of these cages, animals attacking people. The soldier who Beam had a problem with in the beginning of the movie while he was in disguise sees him, throws the kid back into the house in the big Parliament castle, and all shit's breaking loose. He needs the key to get into the house to get Molly. So he finally fights the one British officer, and it just goes bad for the British guy. He's getting speared by elk in the arm, blood spattering everywhere. He basically ended up killing him. And then as he gets the key, Beam is like, "Holy shit, I'm going to do this. I'm this close to getting this kid back and going back home." Then you hear somebody yell out his name, Beam or whatever the hell he said. He screams it out, and Beam's like, "Wait, I know that." Turns around, and you see Ram coming in a cart with horses on fire. Not the horses on fire, the cart's on fire, pushing his way through like a hard ass. Guy's just barreling through animals in his full police uniform. And it just goes crazy from there. And Beam's just like, "What the hell is this? Why are you dressed?" And Beam can't comprehend. He's like, "Why are you dressed as a policeman? You're a cop?" He goes, "After all this time, you're a policeman. Like, why is this happening? Why are you doing this? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm here to protect this kid." So anyway, Ram is the one who's like, "You got to come with me. You got to put these cuffs on. I'm going to take you in alive, because if I take you in alive, I become the special officer, the highest ranking officer, I guess, or one of the highest ranking officers." All hell breaks loose. Beam's like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not going in. I can't." So anyway, as the story goes, typically in any story, they start fighting because Beam's like, "Okay, this guy's not going to get out of my way. I have to get through." All shit. So you got these two superhero legends basically beating the shit out of each other, and Ram's got the upper hand in the beginning of the fight, kicking his ass because Beam's holding back a little bit. He's not being as aggressive. Finally, he sees the obstacle. He sees Ram as an obstacle in his way, goes fucking crazy, and starts beating the shit out of Ram. I mean, just pummeling him. And then it goes into a whole big, awesome fight sequence. They're on the roof. He sees Molly being kind of with guns pointed at her by the British people. And he's like, I got her. I'm here. He's about to jump off this roof ledge onto the ground below and get her. And then, of course, Ram comes in and he's fucking flailing rope at him and he's catching him in midair. And there's a whole nother fight sequence. And oh my God, I can't explain it. You just have to watch it. So anyway, long story short, they arrest Beam because he's like, I'm not going to fight. I want to keep this kid alive. I'll think of a plan later on. And then it kind of just goes on from there. There's a lot. And then you go into Ram's backstory halfway through this movie. And you're like, okay, you see flashbacks Ram's having about somebody who's an older gentleman being shot. And you're like, what the hell does this have to do with the story? So for an hour and 30 minutes, I'm like, this guy Ram's a badass, but it's kind of a dick in a way. He's being loyal to a government that's hurting his own people. They're flogging Beam in an open. This part was fucking crazy. They're in an open area where they want to hang Beam for going against the British government. They're just whipping him, beating the shit out of him. They have to a point where he has to kneel and like talk about ask for forgiveness, or I forgot what it was basically, but he has to kneel and say what his crimes were and then all this shit. So the British people up top, the husband and the wife are just like, oh no, he's got to bleed. I want him to bleed more. And I want to see puddles of blood on the floor. So they throw out this whip with like nails on it basically. And she's like, I want you to hit him with this. And Ram doesn't want to do it, but he knows if he doesn't, this is what I'm talking about. Ram is like, you're like, why does he keep doing this? He obviously loves this guy. He's his best friend. This is not, I don't get the motivation here unless he's just an asshole. Okay. So maybe he's just an asshole. He wants power or he wants this special privilege to maybe be in the good graces of the British government. And you're like, why though? So they end up beating the shit out of Beam, but Beam goes into the singing number about his people and he's part of the earth and he's not going to let these people win. He never kneels. He does bleed a lot, almost dies. And Ram at the end of it goes, okay, well, this guy is amazing. He's a motivating factor for people. He could do more than anybody else can for his people. And then you find out why, just a little before that, Ram's motivation. So they do the flashback when Ram was a kid and his father was in a village training Indian soldiers to fight against the British people. Now, of course, you don't know that until the father mentions Ram's name a little later on in the sequence. So anyway, there's this whole awesome sequence where the dad's training the village and they're using fake weapons and the people are like, well, why are we not using real weapons here? Why are we not using real guns? We got to use real guns eventually. He explains why, about how they have limited ammo and what the cost of the bullet really costs and all this stuff. So Ram is the son. And one night, Ram steals the father's rifle, shoots it, and is like a perfect shot from like, I don't know how far away. Shoots through a piece of wood. Perfect bullseye. I mean, the dad was pissed at first, but then Ram's sister was like, no, I gave him the gun. He wanted to shoot it. And the dad realizes this is it. This is meant. He's meant for this. He's meant to help us. So anyway, the British soldiers come in a little bit after that, wipe out a lot of the village. Ram's dad's like, you son, come with me. You're going to help me. But the village, the wife, the daughter, they're all you got to go. You got to go. So as this is happening, the British soldiers are outnumbering everybody. Okay. These other people don't know how to shoot real weapons. They've all shot like fake, almost toy weapons, but for training, not actual combat. So it goes into this whole thing, this whole sequence of the dad just one by one loading. What was it? Aim, load, and shoot. I think that was the whole his talking points, right? Whoever's in the chat, let me know. It was like load, aim. It wasn't fire. It was shoot, or maybe something like that. That was like that's what his three big words were: aim, shoot, load, shoot, aim, load, aim, shoot. It kept saying that to his son, and one by one, this dad is taking out soldier after soldier after soldier, and the soldiers are like, fuck, we got to get to high ground. So the soldiers get to high ground, start shooting back at the dad, and eventually they hit him a bunch of times. They knock his fingers off, shot in the back, and he's like, son, Ram, you got to take care of this. You got to help me out here. So Ram, being the shot that he is, as good as he is, starts firing back, helping out his dad. He starts taking out more soldiers, more British soldiers, more British soldiers. So the sequence goes on. You're like, oh, so Ram's dad was fighting against the British. I'm like, okay. Now I'm starting to see the motivation. I'm starting to click. So it's kind of like a surprise twist. And you're like, oh, okay. So anyway, he goes into this hold on a second here. Yeah, he goes into this whole shooting sequence. So basically what ends up happening is that the soldiers kill Ram's mom, sister or brother, and then the dad. And then you start to see the motivation. The dad's basically giving him this big speech. He's giving Ram this big speech about how you promise me that you'll get every Indian person or every person a weapon. You'll get them these weapons. I want you to get them these weapons. Promise me that you'll get a weapon in the hands of every person. So fight back against these British soldiers. Cool. So then, boom, you start to see the motivation. You're like, this is it. You find out because reason why he wanted to become a special soldier, which is the highest ranking soldier or officer, is because he has access to all the weapons. Then you're like, oh, okay. So his motivation is just to get weaponry for his people, which is the Indian people, to fight back against the British army or British people. And so I'm thinking, holy shit. Okay. So this is where this is going now. It's awesome. And I'm like, oh, so there's his motivation. Okay, cool. So him and Beam team up, right? I'm thinking, are they going to team up eventually? Well, he just beat the shit out of Beam. He does not feel good about what he did to Beam. And he realizes that Beam is the weapon. Just him speaking the words that he spoke while he was getting his ass kicked got the people more motivated to fight back than just any weapon, any gun could do. Hold on one second. I'm going to send an invite to. 1 second. All right. See if that works, buddy. If it doesn't work at that point, I don't know what's going on then. So anyway, this whole sequence happens, and it goes on and on and on. This is a long movie, really long movie. So eventually what happens is that Ram comes up with this whole plot. He's going to get Molly out. He's going to save Beam, get Molly out. So he does. He comes up with this elaborate plan. The main British soldier in charge, kind of suspicious. So they're about to hang Beam. And they changed the venue of where they're going to hang him because Ram is suggesting that it would look better in this open region, this valley or whatever. So they agree. Okay, sure. Yeah, you helped us out. Cool. You screwed up the first time, but you helped us out. And so they go ahead and, hey, JT Gunn, how you doing? Late Night with Cap. There's my boy right there. Hey, buddy. So anyway, they go into this whole plan Ram has to save the kid. So as they're driving, the main British soldier, the bad guy, yes, JT Gunn, you did change my life. JT Gunn is the one with the Abomination Agent who told me to watch this movie, said it would change my life. I didn't believe them. I gave him credit. I shouted him out on Twitter, both of them, and I gave him credit. So I appreciate that, JT Gunn. You did change my life, I guess, for the better. 3 hours of my life. I did not I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad that I watched a 3-hour movie. I appreciate that, buddy. So anyway, yeah, they basically this whole plan, and it kind of goes haywire. Doesn't go exactly as Ram planned to save the kid Molly and Beam. But eventually he does end up, he starts getting his ass kicked, Ram. Because the British soldier kind of sees what's going on. He's shooting. This is what's fucking crazy about these movies. The main British bad guy shoots a sniper rifle into Ram's car. And I don't know if this is actually how laws of physics work. He shoots a tire out or the back of the car, and the car literally flips over when everybody gets thrown out of the car. Any other movie I'm watching, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? This is not how, like, it would almost be stupid if it was any other movie. But it wasn't. Somehow you're like, wow, this is incredible. So anyway, it goes on. They eventually, after a long sequence of Ram getting his ass kicked and beating the shit out of people, and Beam's beating the shit out of soldiers because somebody Ram's buddy gave him a razor to cut his wire, and he's loose and he's beating the shit. So he gets away. Beam gets away with Molly. You're like, oh, great, cool. But Ram gets captured. Okay. You don't know what happens to Ram. Anyway, Beam ends up leaving, and then it's like a little bit time after, and the British come up with a plan to squeeze him out because he's in this little, kind of in this area where he really can't escape to many places. Very Fast and the Furious, Tollywood style. I like that. It's extremely like that. It's so think of Fast and Furious, how over the top the action is, but in the Indian sense. And like he said, the Hollywood, Tollywood, Bollywood style of movie, if you know what I mean. So you get into this whole sequence, and you find Ram's fiance, who he left behind, and she never thought she'd see him again. So she's helping out Beam and Molly, I'm sorry, Beam and Molly. And you're thinking, oh, well, she doesn't know, he doesn't know until she tells the story of what Ram was really doing there. Beam gets pissed off and sad at the same time, going, I didn't understand. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was doing, but I promise I'll get him out of jail. So Beam goes through this whole elaborate plan to get him out of prison. The British prison where Ram is now being captured because he's found out. He's got broken legs. The British officers are beating the shit out of Ram with his legs, and he's like, I don't care. I'm going to get to that fucking Parliament building or whatever it is, that compound. I'm going to fucking tear it apart. So anyway, this whole thing goes on, and he gets him out. Now, this is where the movie gets fucking even crazier. Ram has bad legs. Beam's like, jump on me, and I am going to, you can get on my shoulders, which is a sequence that happened early in the movie where they were kind of joking, playing around. Ram was on top of Beam's shoulders, and he's so strong, he was kind of just fucking around with them. It was really weird. In this scene, Beam's like, you grab the guns, I'm going to guide you through and carry you. And so he's beating the shit out of people. They're doing backflips and jump kicking and climbing up towers and literally leaping. And Ram's got fucking guns, just beating the shit out of people and shooting at people. It was insane. And in the meantime, there's two people that gets the whole British fucking compound area, and they're just killing everybody. It's great. Beam gets him out into the forest, and he's like, listen, I didn't know who you were. I'm sorry. Gets another fucking herbs and potions around to cure his legs. Dresses him in some Indian garb from some goddess, I believe, that's in this forest. And the British people are like, we're going to go after them. Bring the cannons, bring the fucking soldiers, the special forces. We're going to go after these people. Sure as shit, the British people start coming. Beam is hiding, and he's like drinking water from this little kind of lake-ish kind of, I don't know, puddle thing, and he doesn't see the British officers there. He's about to get killed. Well, Ram miraculously gets up, and you don't know this yet. You see arrows start flying and just cutting people down. British officers dropping like flies. And you see the Indian music comes up, and you see Ram on a hill with light behind him, and he's just like, boom, and he's screaming out the British officer's name, I am here to save our people, something like that. And it's just an action sequence that's crazy. They're kicking motorcycles over. Shit's blowing up. Arrows are piercing people. Laws of physics don't apply here. Beam's picking up motorcycles with one hand and just smashing people, jumping out of the water with spears and spearing people. Two people are just destroying everybody. Then it gets to the big part at the end where they get to the British compound, the main one, and they just start. Beam is riding a motorcycle up this ramp, which is like a rock, like a hillside, and Ram's like, just go up there. I'm gonna fucking shoot your motorcycle with a fire arrow, and we're gonna blow up the whole thing. So anyway, he goes up the ramp. Ram shoots the fucking motorcycle with a fire arrow, and it's in flames, and it hits into the compound's armory, where there's like, for 1920, there was TNT and shells for cannons and bullets. Blows up the whole fucking building. Everybody's fucking dead, basically. Where's Molly and Jenny? I don't know. But you're not thinking about it. You're thinking about how are these guys going to do this? How are they actually going to do this? They get out. Of course, Ram finds the main bad guy, Scott Buxton. Yeah. So Scott Buxton's wife, who kidnapped the kid in the beginning, she's dead because the building exploded. She's dead. He gets pissed off, Scott Buxton, the main white guy. And he's like, nah, you won't beat me kind of thing. And then Ram gives Beam the gun with one bullet. And he tells Scott Buxton had this theme throughout the movie about talking about how we don't kill the peasants, which means the Indian people, with a bullet, because what the cost of the bullet was, where it came from. Use something else, but the value of the bullet is worth more than the actual person you're going to kill it with. So Ram has, in return, when you knew this was coming, tells Beam, go ahead and use this bullet. And he's telling Scott Buxton, the main bad guy, you said this bullet wasn't worth one Indian person's life or whatever, but fuck it. So he tells Beam what Ram's dad used to say, load, aim, and shoot, and boom, right through the heart. And then, of course, the blood splatters across a big sign in the back that says the British, something about the British Empire. It had a term on the background, like the sun won't set on the British Empire or something like that. And then it goes into this whole thing, and then it ends, kinda, and then it goes into what happens at the end here, how he gets him back to his fiance, how Molly gets introduced to the mom again, and then they go into this big dance number at the end, praising like these people that came before them and on a ship, and then there's I can't even explain it. I know I sound fucking crazy. I'm just rambling here. Watch RRR. That's all I'm saying. It's on Netflix. It's 3 hours long, so watch it in parts if you have to. I don't know what's going on with Abomination AJ. It's not his fault. It's something with StreamYard. That song at the end was about their 4th of July. Okay. Thank you, JT Gunn. So it was about their 4th of July. I understand. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay, because I was wondering why they were showing figureheads and okay, that was awesome scene at the end, by the way. Long dance number and the movie ends, of course. Okay, so that makes sense. Thanks for clearing that up for me. But it was great. I really did not expect to like it, and I ended up really, really, really liking it. I would recommend it. Again, go watch it. I'm not sure what's going on here with. I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard. Is everybody else having problems with StreamYard if they're using it? I'm trying to get somebody on the stream, and for some reason, it's not working. I don't know if it's. I had trouble getting onto it earlier. Does anybody else here want a link so I can maybe test this bad boy out? My man Abomination AJ has been trying to get on for like an hour. He can't get on. I don't know why. It's giving him a weird error. Yeah, see, it's been buggy. Today I had problems with it Friday, and I had problems. So I don't think it's you, Abomination AJ. Yeah, I think it's just StreamYard. So what we'll do, Abomination AJ, I will have you on another stream. Or listen, if you're doing a stream, sometime this weekend coming up, maybe. And you want to collaborate on some of this stuff, we can. I'm going to get into it real quick. So watch RRR. I'm recommending it. I think it's awesome. JT Gunn, I got to appreciate you again for recommending it and pushing me towards it. Because I was like, I got to watch this movie. He keeps recommending it. Abomination AJ's talking about it. All these people I like and respect are talking about it. Chris Gore, Critical Drinker. I'm like, I got to watch this. So I'm trying to figure out what does... Here we go. So it's Rise, Roar, and Revolt. That's what RRR stands for. Right, and they show you this in sequence in the beginning of the movie as the movie's starting in different parts. Rise, Roar, Revolt. I'm like, RRR. Thanks, Abomination. I'm sorry, man. You know what? I'll get you back on here. Definitely. We'll collab more. I want to talk. I want to thank you again live for the awesome artwork, and I'm sorry about that, man. So apparently it's not you, it's not me, it's just a stupid StreamYard. StreamYard sometimes fickle. So anyway. So that's RRR. That's my review. I know it was a little erratic. It was a lot I talked about there. This is an awesome movie. Again, not something I thought I would like, but what it does that American movies have not done is it doesn't have an agenda. It has two men that are friends and they're close and love each other. Doesn't go to where you think it's going to go, like American movies would go. Has awesome character building, over the top action, and I'm fine with that because it fits. It's the same thing with Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is way over the top. The plot makes no sense. Everybody's karate chopping people. Nobody's getting shot by the cops. It's fucking crazy. But you end up being invested by the characters and the storytelling. That's what it is. The storytelling is done well. Thanks, JT Gunn. Hey, man. I'm glad. Hey, you too, buddy. Soon we'll collaborate on some stuff too, and I will be checking out your YouTube channel as well. So JT Gunn, Late Night with Cap. Go follow him on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to Abomination AJ as well. Awesome content. Awesome people. Appreciate you both jumping on. I'm going to talk about House of the Dragon real quick, because that's going to be the next thing for the Game of Thrones show. Again, there will be spoilers. I'll try to make this quick as well because I've been on for an hour already, but I'm having fun. I started this stream early so I can do this. Now, House of the Dragon. I don't know how many people have watched this show in the chat. House of the Dragon, episode 5. I tell you what, man, the show's been really surprising. I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing ever, and I really didn't want to watch this show because of how bad Game of Thrones ended. But they got me hooked, man. They got me hooked. I actually want to see what happens. I got to tell you, after this last episode, I am definitely waiting to see. There's a big time jump that's coming. So anyway, let's get to this real quick. Episode 5 of House of Dragon started off kind of with a bang. You have Damien returning to Runestone, and he's talking to this woman, and you're thinking, oh, that's his wife that he doesn't like. She doesn't like him, and this wife they keep talking about in the beginning of the other episodes. He returns, and you're like, what's his motive for returning? But he's wearing like this kind of cloak thing, and you're like, wow, he's being really mischievous. But the guy, Matt Smith, who plays Damien Targaryen, is unbelievable. He doesn't have to say anything. He's such a good actor in his face, and his emotions, and the guy just portrays a crazy, cunning character. But he's great at what he does. So anyway, he finds his estranged wife, and he murders her. So what happens is that she's on this horse, and she's basically telling him, like, what are you back for? You know, what do you want here? And he's like, why don't you go take your kingdom? But you're going to have to murder the main person, the princess. To do that, and then she realizes, oh shit, he's not here to murder her. He's here to get me. So she tries to grab her bow and arrow. Listen, I don't know the lore very much. I never read the books. I'm just going based off of what I remember. There's a lot of characters in the show. And then basically Damien scares the horse. This horse is scared, and the horse kind of pushes her back, and the horse falls on her, and she snaps her neck. And so there's a whole thing where she's like telling him, well, he's walking away, and you're thinking, where the hell is he going? Like, what is going on here? And she basically says, like, oh, I knew you couldn't finish, which is an ongoing joke in the show. If you've watched the show, as to why Damien can't finish anything sexually or with his politics. So he comes back with a rock, and scene cuts, but you understand what happened. He killed her. So what happens is Rhea, King Viserys, and Rhaenyra sail to Driftmark to arrange a marriage between the princess and Sir Lenore, in which satisfies Lord Corlys Valerians regarding the succession. So the Valerians and Targaryens are going to get together. Valerian's son is going to marry a Targaryen princess, and they're going to have lineage and extra dragons and be the most powerful family in the kingdoms. The only one problem is that the son, Sir Lenore, doesn't like girls, which was in the book. That was established. That is lore. So they basically come to an agreement. Like, let's just do our duty for the kingdom, and then you can do whatever you want. I'll do whatever I want, kind of thing. And so that was pretty interesting, because they realize that they have to do this, even necessary if they don't want to. It's what the families want. It's what's best for the kingdom. It's what's best for the future of the kingdom. So they say, okay. So they just do it. So there's a whole thing where the king is sick. King Viserys is sick. He's throwing up on the boat, but he looks like he's dying. And we know he's been sick for a while. He has an infection or whatever's going on with him. He's not healthy. This is a little bit of a time jump here, because this is what the show's been doing. So they arrange this marriage. Okay, cool. We'll do this marriage. You'll come to King's Landing. We'll have a whole 7 days of feasting, and we'll get married under this false pretense, but we'll do it. We'll bear children, and we'll keep the families stronger and join. Okay, great. So what ends up happening here is Queen Alicent is met in a courtyard by Clubfoot. Listen, I know there's a lot of characters here. You might be thinking, who the hell are these people? If you're not interested in the show, just follow with me. There's Clubfoot. He's basically telling her that, hey, what happened with the queen, or the princess? I heard she had some tea brought to her. And he's kind of putting these ideas in her head. And Rhaenyra, who's the princess who's this arranged marriage with, is telling, in the episode before, was telling the queen, Alicent, hey, I swear on the memory of my dead mother, I never slept with anybody. I'm still a virgin going forward, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, she lied. And then Alicent kind of gets these ideas put in her head by Clubfoot, saying, he's basically like, is she okay, though? Like, do you really trust her, and kind of thing? And Alicent, you can see the wheels start to turn for Alicent, who's been kind of just a loyal queen to her king, very quiet. You could see in her eyes always that she knows that there's stuff going on that's wrong, but she never really did anything. She didn't use her power to kind of get to the bottom of anything. She just kind of let it go, trusted people. But that started to change. And now her son is what everybody wants to be the heir of this throne. But the princess Rhaenyra is actually who was going to succeed the king. Well, Alicent's dad, who was the king's hand, gets kicked out by the king, and he's telling the previous hand is telling Alicent, his daughter, listen, you got to get this kid is going to be the heir. Your son is going to be the heir. You got to do something, because the princess Rhaenyra is going to kill your kids, or you're going to have to bend the knee to her, to beg her for mercy, so you stay alive and your kids stay alive, because she's going to want power. So he's not wrong. Alicent unintentionally learns the truth about Rhaenyra and Sir Criston. You know how she learns? Sir Criston tells her. Sir Criston Cole, who's the Night's Watch, who's protecting the princess. Basically, what happened was Sir Criston Cole went to Rhaenyra on the way back from this courtship that they're supposed to have, the Valerians, and basically said, run away with me, Rhaenyra. I want you to run away with me. I want to do this for true love. I love you. We had this amazing experience. I've been protecting you for a while. We can kind of sail away and run away, and we could be whoever we want. You don't have to be tied to this life, this burden of being the heir to this throne. And Rhaenyra basically is like, in the beginning of the show, Rhaenyra did not want the responsibility. Now you can see that things changed. This is where good writing comes in. good character development. This show does a lot of things without saying anything. They leave it to you to kind of guess of what's going to happen next. Maybe I love it. It's competent writing where Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power has to spell everything out for you, hit you over the head with everything. Everything has to be explained because they think you're stupid or you just don't know any better. Good writing versus bad writing. Watch those two shows side by side or one after the other, and you'll realize that the Lord of the Rings show is shit. It's absolute shit. This show is not perfect, but it's competent. The writing is really well done in places. For the most part, it's fantastic. So anyway, Sir Christian Cole basically confesses to the Queen Alicent and goes, "Yeah, I did it. You know, he put me to death because that would be the punishment." And Queen Alicent's like, "No, I'm not. Just go. You're good." My problem, she's thinking her problem's really not with her. It's with Rhaenyra now for lying. And they were best friends before all this, right? So basically, there's this big feast that happens to culminate this marriage between the Valerians and the Targaryens and this and that. And then the best part of the whole show is Matt Smith's character comes in while this is all happening, this big celebration, just strides in like a badass, strolling down the hallway, and everybody knows that he's up to no good. But the way he does it is so well done. This is why this show is so well done compared to Lord of the Rings. He doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to do anything. Just the way he walks in, everybody's like, oh shit, what's going to happen here? Why is he here? We know why he's here, but why is he really here? What's his motive? Do people really know that he killed his wife in Runestone? Like, it's just, it leaves the interpretation up to the audience, which is great, but you know why, because you know Matt Smith, this character. Damien, you know why Damien's really there, but he walks in and it's just like, oh wow, this is going to be good. So it's a little slow in the beginning of the show, a lot of politicking. The king is sick. They keep putting leeches on him to get rid of his illness, which isn't working. His arm looks like mashed potato. It's just all fucking infected and like it's disgusting. So he's obviously dying. So anyway, how the House Hightower is involved in this. There's a call to war. Sir Gerald Royce confronts Damien, who is the cousin of Damien's estranged wife from Runestone, and confronts him, saying, "I know what happened here. I know what you did. You should be put to death for this. People who commit these crimes should be put to death." And Damien's just sitting there, kind of observing everything. It's all in his eyes. He's observing all the people in the room, all these powerful families and all these houses coming together for this big ceremony, or this big wedding. It's great writing because you're sitting there thinking, wow, he's just kind of casing everything. He's getting ideas in his head. He's kind of he's putting all the ideas in his head, what he wants to do for the future, who he can attack, maybe how he wants to do it. And he's just watching and grinning. He's such a bad character. I mean, he's such a badass character. I love him in the show. In the meantime, the king's wondering, why the hell are you here? There's an awesome scene where Alicent is the queen who's not there, which is kind of unlikely. Everybody's like, where is she? Oh, she's still getting ready. She's getting her special attire on. She walks in the middle of the king's speech, and Alicent enters the hall wearing a green gown, and it's the color symbolizing House Hightower's call to war. And they do spell this out in the show. Like, oh, do you know what green means? Green means war. And so this is a symbol and kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge to what's coming. From what I understand from people who know the lore about this show, hell's going to break loose. It's not going to be pretty. People are going to be dying. Whoever's in this show now is not going to be in it at the end of the season, because there's a big time progression coming in the next episode. So the symbol, she walks in with this color green, and you're like, oh shit. And they explain why. Me not knowing the lore appreciated the explanation because it made sense. I'm like, oh boy. So that's what that means. Okay, good. A lot of people felt that it was kind of a little too on the nose. I don't know the lore. I don't know the lore for this book. So to me, I appreciated it. I can understand where some people would have had a problem. It's not perfect, but I understand why. So, yeah. So Sir Gerald Royce, who's the cousin of Damien's wife, who he killed, basically is like, I know what you did, you son of a bitch. I know what you did. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Matt Smith's playing it off perfectly. Damien's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but you know, we used to put people to death who slander like this. And the guy's kind of like, yeah, whatever. And Damien says he expects to inherit his late wife's wealth. And the cousin, Sir Gerald Royce, is like, what are you talking about? Why would you inherit her wealth? And he's like, well, I was her husband. I'm going to petition this house to take her wealth. Oh, by the way, I have a fucking dragon, and I'm coming to see you soon. And you see Sir Gerald Royce in this awesome scene, just kind of like, oh shit, he does have a dragon. This fucking guy can wipe out our entire house of people in 1 second with this fucking dragon that he has. So you're like, oh shit, that was a cool scene. It was a power play. So now the whole time we all know that. Hey Diana, how you doing, Diana? Thanks for coming in. Go Mets, playoffs. We're in the wild card. It's good stuff. So Sir Lenore is homosexual, which is fine. The Knight of Kisses, of all people, is his boyfriend, I guess. And the whole time they're kind of talking about why he has to go through with this and all this. So the Knight of Kisses, I forgot his name. Is that it? Okay. Sir Joffrey Lonmouth realizes during the party that Sir Christian Cole is Rhaenyra's lover. So he knows this secret now. Should have just left it alone. Should have just said, fuck it. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Should have just left it alone and just said, okay, well, we know their secrets, right? She knows your secrets. We're good. We're all here to help each other. Nobody has to expose each other here. Let's not hurt each other. Let's help each other here. So the problem what happens is Lenore's lover stupidly goes up to Sir Christian Cole and goes, hey, wink, wink. I know who you are. I know who you are. I know what you did. It's our secret, but I know what you did. And he kind of does this. And Sir Christian Cole's looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about here? Why would you come up and tell me that? It was a stupid decision. So as that progresses, he's just a smugly tells Sir Christian Cole, hey, we know each other's secrets. We're going to help each other, right? Yeah. Well, wrong. So Sir Christian gets enraged by this and fatally beats the shit out of Joffrey, who's Lenore, the future king's lover. I mean, to the point where he made his face look like hamburger meat. And they show this in the show. There's a scene where you look and it almost grossed me out. I could take a lot of violence. It was bad. So to prevent a future scandal, Rhaenyra and Lenore are quickly married in a private wedding, and just as Viserys comes, the king succumbs to his illness and just collapses. His nose is bleeding, he collapses. And then Sir Christian Cole walks off into this open area and decides he wants to kill himself because he can't deal with all this. And the Queen Alicent appears and stops his suicide. She goes, Sir Christian Cole. And he looks at her, she looks at him, and then the show ends. And there's a lot more dynamic in there. The next episode is called The Princess and the Queen. This is where the big time jump comes now. The time jump comes where they're years ahead now. Like they have children that are grown. The characters that we knew, Rhaenyra and Alicent, they're grown up. They're different, played by different actors and actresses now. And that happened in the book. There was a massive time jump in the book too. So this is going to get play out I know I missed a lot of content in there. There was a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to keep up with the show and the characters. Just a lot. I want to see dragons, fire-breathing dragons killing people. That's coming. I want to see there's a civil war coming between these houses. That's coming because that was in the book. There's going to be a lot of death in the future episodes coming up. There's going to be a lot of war. There's a lot of political play in these shows. I'll tell you what I love, though. The set pieces are amazing in House of the Dragon. Acting is good. The guy playing Paddy Constantine playing the king is freaking amazing. Matt Smith as Prince Daemon Targaryen. Fantastic. Millie Alcock. I love that name. as Damien Targaryen. Not terrible. I want to see if this new actress playing her does any better. Yeah, and the girl, even Allison. Allison's becoming one of my favorite characters in the show because I don't want to say she was a weak character in the beginning of the shows, but she was just kind of obedient, just doing what the king wanted, doing her duty for her father, for the kingdom. Gets close in with Viserys, and eventually they have kids together, and then time goes on and so on. But she's kind of done with all that now. She sees these people for what they are. She's getting into the political game now. She sees her power. She's using her power, manipulating people. Well, in a way, but the dress that she was wearing signified war. This is fascinating stuff. I really want to see where this goes. I'm fascinated. Episode 6 coming up next week. I can't wait. I did not want to watch this show. Game of Thrones season 8 really left a bad taste in my mouth, like to a point where I'm like, I'm never watching another show about this world. This show came on, and people that, again, I trust personally in my real life, and people that I trust in on YouTube. Nerdrotic, Ryan Kinnell, Critical Drinker, Critical Drinker, Mauler, Shagsworth. Like, these people, I'm like, okay, if they're watching this show, I have to watch this show. I watched the first episode. I was like, okay. Watch the second episode. It's better. Third episode was a little better. The fourth episode was a lot of politicking, but it might be fourth episode might be my favorite one still. Episode 5 was fantastic. A little slow in the beginning, but it made up for it. I see all hell breaking loose in these next few episodes. There's 10 episodes total. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to the dynamic and where they're going to go with this. There's a lot of other little innuendo. There's so much detail in this show. I can probably stay on for another hour or two and talk about every little thing. I just set up a little basic piece for you there. There's so much. What I gave you was the basic stuff. So I hope it made sense. Again, watch RRR. Watch House of the Dragon. Do not, if you're going to do me a favor, stop watching Amazon Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I haven't watched it past episode 2. I am getting my information on the Rings of Power from other people like Nerdrotic and these people as whoever else. The show sucks. And when you put these shows neck and neck with each other, you realize what competent acting, what competent set pieces, what competent CGI looks like, what competent cinema is. Night and day. The acting is 100% better on House of the Dragon. The freaking set pieces, the armor, the swords, the storytelling. What I love about what House of the Dragon does, it doesn't treat their audience like morons. It's not so. Now, don't get me wrong. House of the Dragon has that new age feminism stuff in it about females and why women can't rule. Fine. It's not something that kind of takes over the whole show. They hit you over the head with it a little bit, but not like Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, where they're talking about racism. There's white fucking orcs chaining up dark-skinned elves, and you people have to get out of this area, and the activist fucking females, and it's like, oh my god, it's not like She-Hulk where they're twerking and talking about female empowerment, and then twerking and talking about how men suck when they're the ones causing the issues. It's not about that. House of the Dragon has issues. I don't think it's a perfect show. I'd say I'd move my score up from 7 to 7.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. I think it's more than fair. But again, the acting is great. Storytelling is very competent. I'm starting to like the show a little more each week. Now, I want to see how this goes with the progression of the story. We're moving way ahead in the story. There's kids that are older. The younger people in the show are way older now. Not way older, but they're older. They're adults. So I want to see if this affects how we look at the characters now. Because I was starting to just get used to and starting to like the original characters, like Alicent, like Rhaenyra. I didn't love Rhaenyra as the actress herself. Not that I don't like her personally, but her acting's a little wooden. But I was getting comfortable with that character. Now you're taking that away after 5 episodes and moving on to new people. I hope the new people do well. I hope they do well. I really want to see where this story goes, though. From what I understand from the books and the lore, this is going to be bloody because there's a civil war coming, and it's going to be a freaking massacre. And I think that we're going to see a lot of changing in power, a lot of changing. I mean, just from the trailer alone, it goes into this whole. It just basically shows you what's coming. So episode 6 is called "The Princess and the Queen." It's on the 25th of September on a Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on in this last episode. Poor Sir Christian Cole, though, man. I feel so bad for him. The dude got a piece of the queen's goods. The princess's goods, sorry. The princess's goods. Couldn't handle it. Now, was he manipulated a little bit? Sure. He didn't have to do it, I guess, but he kind of did, because if the queen could have made his life the princess could have made his life a living hell if he didn't succumb to her. So he almost had no choice. But he ended up falling in love with her. And he tried to get her out of it, and she's grown up a lot, Rhaenyra, in this show. She's in a good way and a bad way. She, in one scene on the ship where Sir Christian Cole's stating that he loves her, just getting it out there. I want you to do that. Professing his, shouting out his love for her. And she's like, "No, I'm the queen. I am the king. I am the kingdom going forward. It's up to me." Okay, it's an adult thing to say. Then she goes, "Well, you could be my side bitch. You could be my whore on the side." That's what he says to her. "I'm going to be your whore." He goes, "No, that's not how I see it." Well, that's basically what you're asking. I'm going to be married to this other guy in name, just for the kingdom, just for political purposes, political reasons, to advance our families and to move, grow power for both of us. But you could be my side bitch. Come, you can hit it once in a while. It's awesome. People do it all the time, right? And Sir Christian Cole's like, "Fuck you. I'm not doing this." And that's why I think he confessed to Alicent, because he felt guilty about it. And I don't know if he thought it would get just to get back at Rhaenyra. I just think it was more of just he had a guilty conscience. He seems like a good guy. You feel bad for him, and I feel bad for the king. King Viserys Targaryen, man, this poor guy is trying everything he can to keep his kingdom together. He doesn't want a war to break out. He wants peace, because the king before him had so many years. It was 50 years of peace. People loved him, and he even says this in the show. King Viserys, he says, "What's my legacy?" Because he thinks he's dying, which he is. But what's my legacy? He tells us to the hand, his new hand, and he's like, "Well, you have a decent legacy, I think. There was no major wars when it happened, and he's just like, yeah." So he's really worried about his legacy, what he's leaving behind for his daughter, what he's going to leave behind for his two kids with Alicent, or his kids with Alicent. He's starting to see the handwriting on the wall. He knows this is the end time for him. And then the next episode, he's really aged, because this is how far ahead they jumped. The makeup and the aesthetic they used for him, it looks incredible. There's extra dragons in the next episode. I want to see dragons killing people. I like the political stuff. I like the slow moving stuff, because it's a set piece, like a chess game. You're setting pieces up towards the end. Some people think that's slow, and I get that. It's not perfect. There are times last night I was like, all right, I get why they're doing this. Let's move it a little forward, but I get it. When you look back at it now, you're like, oh, okay, I actually appreciated that. I liked where they went with this. From what I understand, this is setting up to be a fucking massacre from what the book does, and it's not pretty. Typical George R.R. Martin, Game of Thrones style. People are going to get killed. People we like, people who deserve it, some people who don't deserve it. It's going to be bad. I think by episode 10, there's going to be some shock. There's going to be a lot of violence. Are we going to get a red wedding scene, but in a green wedding? You get it? So what I'm thinking is going to happen is, how we had the red wedding episode of Game of Thrones? I forgot what season that was. Was that season 3 or 4? Where that red wedding episode was fucking insane. I mean, shook me to the core. And I binge watched the show a few years after it had already, after season 7 ended, I started binge watching the show. So people already had the red wedding for years in their mind. And I got warned. But by the time I got to the red wedding episode in Game of Thrones, the original show, I was like, what the hell is so, holy shit. Even kind of expecting something to happen, not exactly what happened, I didn't know, but expecting something big. I didn't expect that. That was fucking insane. Blew my mind. So I think we're going to get a green wedding scenario. And maybe at this when the actual wedding happens. I know they already had a private ceremony, but they still have to put on a show. Right? They got to do the spectacle and have the real technical wedding. I think that's where all hell breaks loose. I think that's where shit hits the fan. I think that's where something major is going to happen. Why else would Allison be wearing the green? It's a symbol. They're telling us she's wearing green. War's going to break loose. There's going to be a civil war between these kingdoms and these families, and I think it's going to get ugly. You tell me what you think, though. Anybody who's still watching, are you watching the show? Are you interested in the show? I think it's fantastic. So far, it's good. Better than half the shit I've been seeing. Listen, go watch Cobra Kai too, by the way. Netflix did a terrible job of promoting that show. Cobra Kai was awesome. Go watch RRR. Fantastic movie. Go watch Game of Thrones. I can understand if people don't want to watch Game of Thrones. Sorry, The House of the Dragon because of Game of Thrones, leaving a bad taste in their mouth. I get it. Season 7 and 8. I want to say season 6 through 8 for me of Game of Thrones really dropped off. Part of that was just stupid storytelling, the books not being finished. Sorry, Abomination. I hope I didn't ruin anything for you. I hope you checked out and then came back so you didn't hear any spoilers. I'm so sorry. Did I warn? I hope I warned about spoilers. I think I did. I didn't give too much away that you probably didn't know was coming, but it's a great episode. This episode was really good. The first half was slow. The second half was great. The ending was great. So I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, buddy. You know what? Watch the episode. You want to talk about it soon? I'll be available. Maybe if StreamYard isn't stupid, we can collaborate on that maybe sometime this week or even over the weekend. If you're available, just let me know. Let me know when you've seen this new episode, and then we can chat about it. Talk about the flying dragons that are coming. That's basically it. Like I listen, there's better people than me that are been doing this YouTube game for a while, that know this lore, that know this backstory, that can really get into the details. Much more than I can. I agree with you. Oh no, I'm sorry, Abomination. Yeah, I meant for this episode 5 of House of the Dragon. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but Game of Thrones season 8 was fucking trash, absolute garbage. I was so disappointed. They took what was a great show and just literally destroyed the legacy. I mean, dropped it. I had that show initially at an 8. It dropped down to almost like a 6.5 for me, just off that last season. Season 6 wasn't great. It was okay. Season 7 was really starting to drop off, and season 8 plummeted off a cliff. It was really bad. So yeah, Abomination Age. If you want to watch that, when you watch this newest episode, please hit me up, and then we can collaborate. Oh, my boy, Filipino Meatball, co-host. I am your legacy, Timothy. You could be my legacy anytime, little meatball boy. So Friday on the Whiskey and Cannolis podcast, we're going to turn. We've been doing a lot of the not political stuff, but the conspiracy stuff and the college stuff recently, which was a great episode, by the way. My Simply Lifestyle Sum. How you doing? Thanks for joining, man. Kindly watch Bahal. Okay, I can't pronounce that, but you know what? I was just reading that on the internet about those two movies, but I can't. How do you say that? Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2. Same director of RRR, which is more of an epic movie. Wow. Okay. Great recommendation. And there you go, Abomination AJ. You want some recommendations for Indian movies? Here you go. You just got 2 of them. Thank you, my Simply Lifestyle Son. I'm gonna put this up here for a second because I do want to see more Indian cinema. I'm very interested. I'm getting tired of American cinema in general. I know Maverick was an aberration. It was great, but I want to see more stuff like this. So I'm willing. Are those on Netflix too as well? I believe they are actually. Or if not, I'll find them. Thank you, my Simple Lifestyle Sum. Thank you for dropping in and letting me know about that. Abomination AJ says, yeah, I understood. I'm saying I don't know about House of Dragons. Oh yeah, dude. Game of Thrones was one thing. My cousin was a massive Game of Thrones fan. I think she read the books too. She explained a lot of stuff to me about the lore I didn't understand. House of Dragons is a mess. Like, I just don't understand any of it. I am watching the show because I understood. It's keeping me hooked. So, like I said, We could talk about other stuff too. We got to collaborate anyway, Abomination Age. We've been talking about that for a while. Just talk about anything, man. You have more of a knowledge of stuff that I don't, and maybe vice versa. But I want to. I always wanted to get a hold of you and have a collaboration on a stream. We'll do that soon. Yeah. So my simple lifestyle sum. Thank you for dropping those names. So Bahu Bali 1 and Bahu Bali 2. I hope I'm saying that right. Made by the RRR director, which is more epic. Okay, I'm down. Anyway, I wanted to say this too, but I always forget. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. The more likes I get, the more that the YouTube knows that you like this stuff. It'll recommend my stuff. Listen, I've only been doing this for about 2.5 months. And I really want to grow the channel. I know it takes time. I'm doing a different type of thing than maybe most people. I have a lot of stuff kind of going on the channel right now. I got my own live streams. I have the Whiskey and Cannolis podcast, which is podcast style. We talk about everything. And this Friday, we're going to move back to the sports stuff. I know some people don't like it. I do. I want to do what's true to me. We're going to talk more about some little bit of college football stuff, but in general, leadership in sports too. Like what it takes to be a good leader in sports, how to run an organization, stuff like that. Yes. Whiskey Banger and Filipino Meatball will be back on Friday. I'm looking forward to that. No, Whiskey Banger. I mean, Meatball. Thank you for being you, buddy, and being our special guest on the show every week. Anyway, I'm recommending these movies and these shows because it's really what's the best out there right now. That's not saying much, considering. And part of it is because things are so bad in American cinema. What they're doing with The Little Mermaid, the race swapping stuff. Again, things are just weird. We're in a weird time. I want to get Abomination AJ's take on that. I've been watching some awesome videos with him and some other people. Pops on YouTube is awesome. Please follow him. He's awesome. There's some Jane Theory. There's so many good people on YouTube. YouTube has become my content place to be. It's become my main focal point for content. Where I think Nerdrotic said this, where traditional TV, the linear TV, the episodic TV, it's kind of going bye-bye eventually. And YouTube, the live streaming, stuff like this is what content's going to be. I watch 99% of my stuff on YouTube. During the day while I'm working my regular job, I have it on this podcast stuff, video stuff, all the people I love to follow. I'm just adding more and more people. And so I want to ask the chat, how do you like the banner border thing that I have going on here? Now look at that beautiful artwork by Abomination AJ there with the Cannoli Sasquatch. My wife, thank God bless her, created the border. We also made a new background border for the Whiskey and Cannolis podcast. I got merch ideas coming. So by Abomination AJ hooking me up with this, doing this awesome job, I got some stuff in the works. Got some possible connections for possible merch stuff that might come down the pike. Shirts, mugs, whatever. The Cannoli Sasquatch is going to be the main symbol, and we're going to move on. We're going to progress from there. I got more ideas for Abomination AJ to create more avatars for me, more symbols, more stuff. Thank you, Abomination AJ. Yeah, the border's awesome, man. I came to this ideal of I wanted to incorporate the Sasquatch. I wanted to incorporate my social media platforms. And then I love what she did with the symbol with the Italian colors, the C and the S being the Italian flag. Just funny. Or Jesus. A Jesus idea? What are you talking about, Philip? In the border about Woody? Is the border about Woodies? Now, what are you talking about, Diana? Woodies, as far as... I just like the wood. It just fits. The style, I love it. I think we will have an Ice Nazi update from from Filipino Meatball's Ice Nazi stories. Unbelievable. His ice. I don't know. She's still there. We'll see. We're gonna have a good show Friday. Next Friday on the 30th, I will be out of town. I'm taking a small sabbatical by myself. I'm going to visit some family in Texas. Men and Jewels. I mean, the border's just a Sasquatch holding cannolis. So yeah, you interpret that any way you want, Diana. Diana, you got full reign. I love you, so you interpret that any way you want. I'm going to be in Texas on the 30th through the second short trip, but I'm going to be there. So there will on the September 30th, that Friday, there will not be a live stream. We will pre-record a show before then and then load it up to come on that night. So unfortunately, there won't be a live stream, Greg, on the 30th. I will be back on the Monday, which I believe is the 2nd. I don't know if I'm going to live stream that day because I'm coming in late Sunday night before that Monday, and then I'm going to be painkillers. Oh, are you just saying your painkillers are making you hallucinate? How you feeling, by the way? So we got a lot to talk about. Again, maybe sometime this week. The problem with my collaborating with people is that I have to do it in the evening hours where I am locally because I work all day. Maybe during the weekend I can collaborate with some other people. We could talk about some stuff. I'm down. I have a few people I would love to get in contact with and talk. Again, follow Abomination AJ on YouTube, at Abomination AJ on Twitter. I think he's on Odyssey too, if I'm not mistaken. Is it just Abomination AJ on Odyssey? I am only streaming on YouTube now. As my subscribers grow, I do have videos that do load up to Rumble. You can find me on Rumble, Cannoli Sasquatch. Should Whiskey Banger and I have our own podcast with Cannoli? Stovepipe, what's up, Stovepipe? Work all day. There you go. That's all I do, man. I work for you all day, and then I come home and do my secondary job. I appreciate you being supportive, Stovepipe. Your college stuff and the peppercini eating thing on Friday was great. Yeah, I listen. You and Whiskey Banger can do your own show on the 30th if you want. That's up to Whiskey Banger. He's kind of second in command. But he is second in command. Yeah, Abomination AJ gets it. He gets it. When did Cannoli... Fuck you, with Filipino meatball. I always work, damn it. I'm great at my job. Yeah, Abomination AJ, it's true, man. Like, working a regular job... Look, I work for a great dude. He gives me a lot of freedom in my job. We're working towards something big for our regular job. And then obviously if this turns on to something, this is great. Hey, you know what? My wife could host. You know what? Jamie, my wife, could host the show for me. She knows how to work it. And I mean the StreamYard, not work it. Well, whatever. OnlyFans hasn't opened up yet, so we're working on that. She could host the show. Hey, I tell you what. I tell you how you get a show. Yeah, we could do here. My wife loves ASMR. She could do an ASMR episode where you tap stuff, and you do. So the bristles are soft, and we're gonna make you fall asleep to the sounds of thunder and lightning, and cookie crisp Pringles. We're gonna do stuff like that. I tell you what would be a great idea if you and Cassie can do a show together. Let the women take over the show that Friday the 30th. I tell you what, it's not a bad idea. On the 30th, my wife could host a show. She knows how to get into the system and work and use this. So not a bad idea. I'll be in Texas having a great time, visiting some family I haven't seen in a while, some cousins, my uncle. It's going to be a long time coming, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these people. I haven't really taken much time off in a long time. Yeah, ladies' night. There you go. You can have a ladies' night. Stream as long as you want. I don't give a shit. Do it. I really think my wife and Cassie, Whiskey Banger's fiance, wife, basically, should do a show together. And then when I'm not here, I tell you what, that would be hilarious. Let the wives take the shows over. They could put their names on there. There you go. Let the wife host and Whiskey Banger, and Tim can handle the chat. That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that. I think that'd be a really smart thing to do. Good advertising for me. I'll still be available on social media while I'm gone. I can even catch it on my phone. Not a bad idea. I kind of like this idea. Maybe we'll have to. I'm going to talk to my wife about this going forward. Maybe we can do something like this where we can have. My Simple Lifestyle Sum says, if you love gangster movies, watch a KGF 1, KGF 2, which was the highest grossing movie. B, also must watch Sardar Udham Singh, a classic true story removed from Oscars 2020, nominated due to politics. Okay. Hey, buddy, My Simple Lifestyle Sum, you're giving me some awesome recommendations here. So I'm going to take these into consideration. My Simple Lifestyle Sum, are you on social media? You on Twitter or Facebook? Because I am on those. Okay, so I am doing this live stream on Twitter. I'm also doing this live stream on Facebook. Cannoli Sasquatch Productions is my Facebook page. At Cannoli Sass, at Cannoli SAS is my Twitter handle. You can get me there. Hey, listen, if my Simple Lifestyle Sum, if you want to private chat me with the names of all these movies, I have them. I took a note, but if you want to hit me up on social media too to kind of give me a reminder, I don't want to forget. You can hit me up in those places. I am on Rumble. My shows will show up on. So when I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, my live streams will also be on Rumble at the same time. Right now, Cannoli Sasquatch is my Rumble page. My shows from here load up there in 24 hours. So you can go like those. Please, if you're watching this live stream right now, like this video. Like all my videos on my page. I do it for all the people that I support because I know it means a lot to their future channels going forward. Like my shorts, like my videos. Go back, hit that like button. Hit the bell button that you know I'm coming on. That's a notification bell. And please subscribe. Listen, I know I'm still learning this game. I'm doing what I can. I really love doing this. I want to grow. I don't want to beg for subscribers, but if you share this channel and tell people, listen, I always tell people about the people I love. I got Abomination AJ's name all over freaking social media and people that I know. All the people that are even huge, I talk about, geeks and gamers, all these people. Like my shorts, eat my shorts. Remember? What was it, Bart Simpson back in the day? I'm not being bossy. I'm sharing. I want people to share. I want to share the love. This community, listen, the YouTube community has to stick together, especially with a lot of the stuff that we talk about, because YouTube doesn't like what we talk about. There's a lot of haters out there. We support each other by liking our videos, sharing the videos, subscribing. Like, share, subscribe. I'll even do this right here. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm working at this game. So yeah, we could maybe have a host with the females. That would be kind of funny with the females taking over. Maybe Jamie can do that. Maybe my wife can do that. That'll be kind of fun. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Please, 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 please. It means a lot. Maybe I am kind of begging because the only way YouTube's algorithm will pick up that people want to watch this. I just want to get to that point. Hey, I'm going to keep, you know how many times I see other people saying this stuff? The big players don't have to say it. I have to say, I'm a little boy. I'm a little guy in the big. Hey, by the way, real quick, if you like gaming, Modern Warfare 2's beta is fantastic so far. I didn't want to pre-order the game because I wasn't really looking forward to it. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's so much better than the previous games. Please go play that. I'm going to be streaming a lot of that game when it comes out at the end of next month. Got some Fortnite streams I might do soon. Abomination AJ, man, thank you so much for trying to get on the show today, man. I'm so sorry that it didn't work out. I feel bad about that. But I will collaborate with you soon, knowing that it's a StreamYard issue and not something on my end. I feel a little better because I really wanted to talk to you on the show. We will get together and talk on the show. I promise. On your show, you can invite me onto yours. I'm here for you. I'm here, whatever, anytime, man. Play a real Modern Warfare is Call of Duty. That is a real game, buddy. It's not MLB The Show, which I love. I love MLB The Show, but that is a real game. It's a first-person shooter. It's a man's game. It's not NBA 2K, which sucks. I used to love that game, though. All right, anyway, I'm almost to the 2-hour mark, so I think I'm going to call it quits soon. I really appreciate everybody that showed up. I really do. This was an awesome show. Yeah, we'll do it, Abomination, man. I really want to collab with you only because you got knowledge on stuff that I don't. I want to shout you out again for the awesome avatar and artwork. This kid's going to go places. And then we'll chat about your whatever. We'll come up with something. Greg, you'll be okay, buddy, but I appreciate the love. Russian roulette, but with a round in every chamber so everyone is a winner. Is that what you want to do on the live stream? Only if you're holding the gun, Tim, we can do Russian roulette. Please. We'll get together soon, my boy, my man, my people. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I really do appreciate it. I love you all. I really do. You guys are awesome for the support that I do get. I have a lot of great friends I found on YouTube, on this platform because of YouTube. People that I found on Twitter. That's growing for me too. I love you all, man. Seriously. You guys have been nothing but supportive. Diana, Greg, all my people on Truth Social, My Met fans, go Mets. Greg, I really appreciate your support. Double G, Greg, not me. But Double G, Greg. He's got my name, my namesake. Love the man. Are you a better shot than Whiskey Banger? We're going to have to talk to him about that. I'm going to text him after this show on the thread and see if you are a better shot than Whiskey Banger. I don't know. He's an ex. I mean, the guy was in the Army. Just saying. Anyway. All right. I'm going to take off. I appreciate you. Abomination AJ again. JT Gunn, appreciate you coming on to the stream before, giving me knowledge, forcing JT Gunn, Late Night with Cap. Follow him. Abomination AJ. Please follow these people on YouTube. Subscribe, like their stuff. Please. It helps them out. My Simple Lifestyle Sum. Real quick, must watch Sardar Udham Singh, true story movie, which Western audience has never seen. Also was brilliant cinematography. Oscars removed this movie from list at last moment due to politics. You got it, buddy. The plate rack, Tim. Shut up. So stupid. Okay, My Simple Lifestyle Sum. Thank you so much. I am on TikTok too. I don't know what my TikTok handle is. I think just go on TikTok and search Cannoli Sasquatch. My wife is running all my social media accounts for me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm not a TikTok fan, but it does help views. I'll probably clip out some stuff from this show too and put it on there. Listen, I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. I had a great time on this Monday. Monday's not my favorite day of the week, but I had a great time talking about all this stuff with you. Thank you, Greg, for showing up, Diana for showing up, everybody else. We will be back Friday. And again, if you don't like the subject we're talking about, I understand. Just watch anyway. Give me a like. Just give me a view. I'll do the same for you, of course. Hey, My Simple Lifestyle Sum. Thank you so much for the movie recommendations. Hit me up and recommend more. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the channel. You can hit me up there anytime you want. All my social media things are on there. I appreciate you all. I have to go. I will see you Friday at 7:05 p.m. local time, which I think is 10:05 Eastern. I love you. I'll see you Friday.